Hey guys, Neely here. I'm coming in today for Wellness Wednesday. So I want to give you an update on how things are going for me with my diet plan and fitness and all that good stuff. But first, I have to show you what I'm looking at here. I'm sitting by my back glass door and we got a serious snowpocalypse going on. Look at all that snow. This is so unusual for us here in the Pacific Northwest. We could get like up to 10 inches of snow, I heard, and we've gotten, I don't know, maybe 6 so far. It's hard to tell because it's kind of blowing around everywhere, but it is pretty snowy and it's still coming down strong. So it's fun. We're having a snow day today. So as far as my diet plan, things have been going pretty well. I have been on the eat less, exercise less portion of the lose weight here diet. And I've been on it for about a week and a half now. And the first week went off without a hitch. I had no problems whatsoever. But then in the last, 3 days, I've run into some cravings and some extra hunger. So that as soon as that started happening, it was kind of a key or a sign to me that I was moving towards metabolic compensation. So I've been doing a few things trying to tweak my diet just to make sure I don't get to that point where my body is fighting against me and trying to regain any weight that I've lost. But then also, this is TMI, but I started Shark Week, which is what Trish calls it. I've heard it called Tom or Aunt Flo, but I love how Trish calls it Shark Week, it's pretty hilarious. So anyways, I just started that today. So the last few days of extra cravings could actually just be that and no, metabolic compensation issues at all, just total normal hormonal fluctuations. But I will just give you a rundown of last week. I told you about our upcoming date night or date day. It ended up being a lunch that we went out, my husband and I, on this past Friday. And that went really well. I for breakfast I just ate what I was normally eating, so just something very light. And then we went to PF Chang's and I ordered the gluten-free, I think it was called Singapore street noodles with shrimp and chicken. And that was really good. I got the gluten-free version. So it was rice noodles with veggies and shrimp and chicken, and it was really good. Afterwards, I went and looked online at their nutrition information, and I think it was like 900 calories, which is a ton for that tiny little plate, but it was good and it was fine. And actually, I totally intended on eating dinner that night and just kind of eating a regular dinner like what I had been eating. But we got busy and I just wasn't that hungry. I think eating that giant lunch was plenty for me. So I ended up eating probably the same or similar amount of calories that I had been eating. I think I was up like 0.6 the next morning, but my body fat percentage was down that next morning. So I don't know. And then it came right back off. So if I gained any water weight from like the sodium or the soy, if there was soy in it, it came right back off. It was no big deal. So that was good. And then I just hopped right back on Saturday, and Saturday was fine. And then Sunday is where I started having some cravings, and the whole day went fine. And I stayed on plan and had no problems. And then it wasn't until about 8 p.m. that I started having some serious cravings. And the great thing about this plan that I'm doing is that if you have cravings or if you have extra hunger, you shouldn't just get through it with willpower. If you're having those kind of things, that's a sign that you need to switch something up to keep that from happening. So I did end up eating some of the food that I'd made for my family for dinner that night. And it probably wasn't the best choice as far as nutritionally, fat loss food, that kind of thing. But it was what was there, and that's what I was craving. So that's what I ate. On other plans where I've been on really strict diets, if you go off plan and you eat something you're not supposed to, there's all kinds of guilt, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And like I would go over it in my head. I wish I hadn't done it. Mad at yourself. I should have just been stronger. I should have just used more willpower. But with this plan, I don't have those thoughts. And I instead think, what do I need to do? What do I need to tweak so that that doesn't happen again? So that I don't get myself to that place of having those cravings. So there's no guilt about what I did because I had the cravings. I needed to do something about it. And yes, I could have made a different choice or a better choice, whatever. But the point moving forward is I'm not beating myself up about what happened. I'm just thinking about what I can do to tweak my diet to make it work for me better so that I don't end up in that place again. So I've been thinking about that and like what I can tweak. But then now that, my period has started, I feel like I need to just wait and kind of just see what happens. It could just be the hormonal stuff and it'll just blow over. But one thing I did decide to do is throw in a few deep S days, and that is a THM term, deep S. And so if you're not on THM or don't know anything about it, it doesn't mean anything to you, but basically what it is a very low carb day, or it could be a meal, like a deep S meal or a deep S day, where you eat very low carb, but you are eating very clean low carb. So it's meat, either lean or fatty, plus plenty of healthy fats like butter and coconut oil, and then green leafy vegetables. You can have other vegetables, but they emphasize just green leafy vegetables. So it's very clean. There's no nuts, no cheese, nothing that is really easy to overeat on low carb. I know when you do low carb, it's super easy to eat lots of cream cheese, lots of lots of nuts, that kind of thing. And with the deep S, they just cut all that stuff out. So you're down to the very bare basics of the protein, the fat, and the mostly green veggies. So I've decided to sprinkle in a few deep S days in my plan here and there. And the reason for that is because this plan that I'm doing is fairly low fat. It's actually very low fat because that's a good way to cut calories because there's so many calories in fat. But I feel like I get to the point where I just need some extra fat. And so I didn't want to just add a bunch of extra fat into my regular diet that I'm consuming because that's going to undercut the weight loss because it's going to add lots of calories. So I decided to do it by adding the deep S days because deep S days are great for weight loss as well. And I think kind of going back and forth between the lower calorie fuel pull E days with the carbs and then doing a few deep S days here and there whenever I feel like I need a little bit of extra healthy fat. I think that'll be good. And so it's funny because I was thinking about how I am a terrible poster child for any diet because I'm always tweaking and I'm always grabbing things from other diets. I'm sure anybody that has a diet that I've followed does not like me because I keep changing things and moving things around and adding things. And anyways, but that's the whole point, I think, of dieting and learning about these diets is to take what works for you and to throw out what doesn't work for you. And when you're reading a diet book, usually you're just reading the diet that works for whoever wrote the book. And so that's great. And you can learn tons from that. But in the end, to make it work for yourself, you should grab what you need and throw out the rest and then continue to do that as you continue to learn. So anyways, I am adding in those deep S days, and I'll add a little clip in here of some of the deep S foods that I am having today. Here is my breakfast on my deep S day. I had a yellow squash that I cut up and sauteed in butter, and then 3 fried eggs. They sounded so good with butter again, of course. Just trying to get my fat in. I feel like I've been deficient in it lately, so this is going to be delicious. A few more things I'm prepping for my deep S day. Got some ground beef defrosting, some nice grass-fed ground beef. I haven't been eating a lot of beef since it's higher in fat, and I've been doing pretty low fat these last couple of weeks. I'm going to do some ground beef and cabbage, which I love, and then of course I had to pull out another box of the Kerrygold butter from my freezer that I had stocked up on back near Thanksgiving. They had a good sale, and so I stocked up on that, and I had to pull one out because I was almost out, and you can't do a deep S day without some good butter. And then in a little bit, I'm going to be making this recipe. I'm covering up because it's a copyrighted recipe. Don't want to share it. It's in the THM cookbook, Skinny Chocolate Truffles. They're so good, made with coconut oil and some good healthy cocoa, and they're really yummy, and I've made them before, and actually I have a review video on them that I'll link up in the cards, but I'm going to be working on some of those this afternoon just to get all of my healthy fats in for the day. All right, now I wanted to talk about exercise a little bit. At the beginning of this year, I decided to up my Fitbit step goal from 10,000 to 11,000 just to increase a little bit. I wanted to keep pushing and getting better. And last year I was able to get to my 10,000 step per day average. I told you a couple weeks ago that I was really close to the 10,000 steps per day average. And I was able to do a few extra steps on the last few days of the year so that my average is over 10,000. And I will show you that right here. So I've been getting the 11,000 steps a day almost every day so far this year. I think 2 or 3 maybe. I haven't, but it seems to be pretty doable for me. I wasn't sure, and I'm going to keep up with that. Then also, as far as my exercise, I showed you my exercise log on my planner video I did the other day, but I have only exercised once a week so far. So baby steps. I wasn't exercising for a couple months there at the end of the year, and besides the walking, and now I'm getting back into it. I did my PIO the first week, and I showed you that on one of my videos with my daughter doing it with me. But I have tried so very hard to like PIO, and lots of people love PIO. But whenever I do it, it bores me to death. And I know it's good for me. I know it's a great workout, but it seems like it just drags on, and I absolutely can't stand it. So after I did that one workout, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So I decided to put that away. And I was like, if I don't enjoy the exercise, I'm just not going to do it. I know myself. So I'm not going to try to force myself to do something I hate. And so I put that away, and I've decided to do Chalene Extreme again, which is a heavy weightlifting workout. It's where you do the very heavy weights with very slow reps. And I have done this one several times. I've had the program for several years, but I love it, and it always gives me a great workout, and you can always increase the intensity by adding more weight. So it's not something that you can just get used to necessarily, because you should always be getting to failure with the weights. So I'm doing that, and I did my first workout of that yesterday. So a week ago yesterday, I did my PIO, and then yesterday I did my Chalene Extreme, and I'm going to try really hard to get one more workout in this week, because my goal was to work out at least 2 times a week as far as weightlifting, while I'm doing the eat less, exercise less portion of the diet. You're supposed to just get in your walking and then 2 weightlifting workouts for the week. So if I'm able to get another weightlifting workout in, like on Thursday or Friday, I should be good. So now, as far as my weight loss, I am down for the week 1.8 pounds, and I was down 3.8 the last week. So that's a total of 5.6 pounds in 2 weeks, which is really good. I'm very happy with that. So my weight this morning was 157.8, and that is about the lowest I've seen since before I got pregnant with my last baby. So I'm really getting into new territory. Once I get to see 156 on the scale, it will definitely be new territory. I have a body fat percentage scale as well, and it is not super accurate, as those kind of scales are not. But it says that I am down 1.5% body fat from 2 weeks. So things are moving in the right direction. I can't complain. And I'll show you my weight loss log real quick in my planner. This is what it looks like. So you can see that I started this week, or the last day of last week was 159.6. And then I went down to 158.8, and then I jumped up to 159.6, 159.2, 159, back up to 159.6. And so it really jumps around a lot. So I'm not really paying attention to the day by day. But when I look at the whole week, I see I'm down 1.8 pounds. I'm down 0.6% body fat. And then this is my total. I'm just doing the weekly, how much I was down in this week. And then this is going to be the running total for all the weeks. And so I am happy with it. It's going really well. I also wanted to show you real quick in my planner that I was able to print off the Chalene Extreme weight tracker. It's like the weights of the dumbbells you're using, not body weight. But it has all the exercises, and then you write down the weight that you use and the reps. And so you can just keep track of it from week to week. And it was so nice to be able to print it right onto my planner paper, so it can just sit in here and I can log all of my exercise in one place. And you can see this is my exercise log of what I'm actually doing. And you can see I have my once a week exercise, and hopefully I'll get in another one here. And we'll have 2 for the week. That'll be so exciting. So that is what's going on with me, and that is my Wellness Wednesday update. Very happy with how things are going, and I'm happy with how I can tweak things if they end up not going well. like the last couple of days. And today I'm just going to keep up with my deep S foods, my very low carb, very clean paleo-ish foods. And I will be interested to see what that does to my weight because those deep S days can often produce some good weight loss just because you're cleaning out all the glucose from your cells and all that. So we'll see how that goes. And we are just going to be enjoying a fun family snow day today. My husband's not going to work. He was supposed to get some deliveries to keep working on this remodel, but they canceled the deliveries because of all the snow. And so we're going to be hanging out at home and enjoying the snow. I shouldn't have a problem getting my steps in today because one thing we like to do in the snow when it's a not too stormy of a snow day, we like to walk to the park and the kids think that's so fun going down the slides in the snow and stuff. So we may do that this afternoon. And yeah, we're going to just have a fun family time. I hope you guys are all doing great. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.